Hello Arlington, I'm Sydney Britt, and I welcome you to Sydney's Media Moment. Today is September 18th, which means it's the first day of Rosh Hashanah. In honor of the Jewish New Year, I want to celebrate acclaimed Jewish director Mel Brooks. For those of you that don't know who Mr. Brooks is, I'll give you the quick rundown. Brooks is an American Jewish director known for creating films in the genres of farce, parody, and satire. He's also created a number of TV shows, including Get Smart, and a few musical comedies, including The Producers. Throughout the span of his currently 71-year-long career, Brooks has created a number of iconic films. Today I want to discuss his three most popular movies: Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, and The Producers. Let's start our moment of appreciation with Brooks's brilliant parody, Young Frankenstein. This 1974 comedy, as you could guess, is a direct parody of the 1931 classic creature feature, Frankenstein.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
This movie follows Dr. Frederick Frankenstein,
That's Frankenstein.
who has just inherited the estate of his infamous grandfather. After he arrives at the estate, he begins to recreate the experiments of his grandfather, assisted by the hunchbacked Igor, the beautiful Ingar, and the crotchety Frau Blucher. Shenanigans ensue when Frankenstein's monster is brought to life. All the while, Frankenstein's fiancée is visiting.
If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits?
This movie is a hilarious romp, filmed in the same style as the Universal horror films from the 30s. It's heavy with innuendo, puns, and physical comedy, and is sure to make anyone laugh. The movie is rated PG by 70s standards, so I would say it's rated PG-13 by today's standards. Next on the list is Brooks' 1974 Western, Blazing Saddles. This piece of comedy genius tells the story of a black man named Bart, played by Cleavon Little, who becomes the sheriff of a small town in the West, Rockridge. While the racist townspeople don't take to Bart at first, he eventually gains their respect, with the help of his drunkard deputy Jim, played by Gene Wilder.
Well, my name is Jim, but most people call me Jim.
This satire of Western films pokes fun at the taboo topic of racism and is filled to the brim with innuendos, vulgarities, more innuendos, and is overall a total laugh fest.
I think I'd better straighten myself out.
Need any help?
Oh, all I can get.
The movie's rated R by 70s standards, so it's pretty tame by today's standards, but I still don't know if I'd call it PG-13. But I was younger than 13 when I first saw it, so maybe PG-15? And finally we have Brooks' 1967 musical comedy, The Producers. This iconic piece of cinema is about Max, played by Zero Mostel, who was once the biggest producer on Broadway, but now has to beg for cash contributions. Desperate for money, Max's new accountant, played by Gene Wilder, offhandedly says that if he were to get investors for a show that totally failed, they'd be able to keep all the extra funds.
So in order for this scheme to work, we'd have to find a surefire flop.
What scheme?
This leads to the production of the worst musical ever, Springtime for Hitler.
Well, talk about bad taste.
This satirical black comedy was Brooks' directorial debut. It was controversial from the start and received mixed reviews. Despite the initial reception, it won the Academy Award for the Best Original Screenplay, and it's since become a beloved film among consumers and critics alike.
Please don't jump on me! I'm not gonna jump! I'm not gonna!
The movie's rated PG by 60s standards, so I'd say it's at least PG-13 by today's standards. And that is the end of our list. Some quick honorable mentions include Spaceballs, Robin Hood Men in Tights, and I'll add in The Elephant Man, which Brooks secretly helped produce. I hope you have a wonderful Rosh Hashanah, and if you're blanking on ways to celebrate, put on a Mel Brooks film and enjoy the absurdity.